Produced by Nintendo. Presented by Shigesato Itoi. EarthBound. 0. Hello folks, Everchanger here, and welcome to my new Let's Play of... This game has a lot of different names, and I feel like I should explain that before I continue. Many of you are probably familiar with the game EarthBound on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. What some of you may not know, although this game has achieved some serious notoriety, is that EarthBound is actually the second game in a series known originally in Japan as Mother. Mother 1 is a game that was released on the original Nintendo Entertainment System, known as the Famicom in Japan, and that is what we are playing right here. That game was never released in the United States, because after the localization process had been completed, it was realized that it would be more economical for Nintendo to pursue localizing games for the Super Nintendo, because this game came out quite late in the life cycle of the Famicom, and the localization process brought it into about 1991 or something like that. And by then the Super Nintendo was coming out, and they wanted to localize Mother 2 for the Super Nintendo into EarthBound in the US, so that's what they did, and the localization for this game was shelved. Literally shelved. It lay on a shelf at Nintendo for years and years and years, until eventually a couple of prototypes were leaked out to the public, and that's how we found out that this game had indeed been localized and planned for release. I believe there's about 4 or 5 prototypes running around in the world, so if you thought Nintendo World Championships was a rare NES game, no, this has got it beat far and away. There's only about 4 or 5 of these in existence. And that's pretty much where the story ended for the original NES EarthBound prototype. Later on, in about 2005 or so, this game was actually released in Japan for the Game Boy Advance, but once again, it went unlocalized. However, last year at E3 2015, this game was actually released on the Wii U Virtual Console as EarthBound Beginnings, and that is what this video is titled, because that's the official name of the game we are playing. Now, anyone who actually owns this on the Wii U Virtual Console will notice that this title screen is a little bit different. This title screen has a 0 appended on it. That is because I am not actually playing the Wii U release. I am playing this on an emulator, and there's a couple of reasons for that. The main reason for that is this game is really, really freaking hard. It's an NES RPG. There's a lot of grinding involved in this game. You could grind for hours and hours just trying to beat this. So what I have done is I have appended a patch to this EarthBound 0 ROM that quadruples experience and doubles my money earnings, and I believe it also roughly halves the wild encounter rate. Now, some people might be upset at this because it sort of changes the game from what it originally was, but you guys have to realize, I am a junior engineering major. I do not have time to dedicate to all of that grinding. Like, I seriously don't. And another thing that is definitely worth pointing out is that this series is only going to be uploaded twice a week for that same reason. I'm planning on uploading it Mondays and Fridays, just because, again, I'm not sure if I have time to even record 3 videos of this. In fact, I'm kind of kicking myself for recording it now because I've got quite a bit of homework to do. I just wanted to get at least a couple episodes of this out there, just because it's been a little while since the last Let's Play ended, and I know some people are getting a little bit fidgety for something new, and I hope that this satisfies that criteria. Anyway, we've been sitting on this title screen for a long freaking time. Just one more thing I want to say is in the description, there will be a link to the Nintendo eShop page where you can purchase this game on the Wii U. I will not be providing links to download this off of the internet out of respect for Nintendo. Anyway, with that, let us finally press start after about 6 minutes of sitting on this title screen. And as you can see, there are 3 save files. Let's try this first one right here. Now, there are a few characters that we get to name, just like in the original EarthBound. There are a lot of similarities to EarthBound in this game, because EarthBound is actually a sequel to what we are playing right here. So we are going to be naming our first character. We're going to be naming the characters all of their canon names, just because in a plot-driven game like this, it's just something I prefer to do. This person's name is Ninten. This person's name is... let's just scroll all the way over here. Anna. And unfortunately there is no cursor looping, so even though I'm pressing left right here, it's not going over. Next up is... let's scroll all the way over here. Now there's multiple ways to spell this character's name. It's either L-O-I-D or L-L-O-Y-D. This is just the spelling I prefer. This child's name is Lloyd. And then right here we have this last character, Teddy. We have a cat named Teddy, but this is not the reason he is named Teddy. He actually came that way. Alright, now for the favorite food. This always confuses me because I'm pretty sure steak is the canon food in the SNES EarthBound. I don't know what the canon name for this favorite food is. However, I've always, for whatever reason, I'm not sure why, I'm not sure where I found this, but I've always named it prime rib. Don't ask me why. In fact, I would always even spell it without a space in the middle, even though there's more than enough space. This is just what I would call it. Don't ask me why. Anyway, with that, I think we are ready to begin. In the early 1900s, a dark shadow covered a small country town in rural America. At that time, a young married couple vanished mysteriously from their home. The man's name was George. The woman's name was Maria. 2 years later, as suddenly as he left, George returned. He never told anyone where he had been or what he had done. But he began an odd study, all by himself. As for Maria, his wife, she never returned. Eerie indeed. Very eerie indeed. 80 years have passed since then. And here we are. This is our character. Now, one thing that's definitely worth noting, as this is an NES RPG, you have to open up this menu to talk to somebody. And there's also a check command for checking things, and there's also a whole bunch of other stuff right here. Right here, you'll notice down there in the lower right corner, there are 8 dots labeled Melody. Similar to EarthBound, the main task of this game is to collect melodies. However, the way you collect them is a little bit different, which we're going to be getting into later in this episode. Also, you might notice there is grid-based movement. You can move in 8 directions. Very, very classic stuff. Anyway, with that, let's try and head out of our room, and we are attacked by a desk lamp. Lamp drew near. So, we do not have any psychic abilities. If I press A on it, it just jumps back to fight because we don't have any abilities. So all we can do is do fight, which is basically bash or whatever from EarthBound. One difference from EarthBound that you might notice, there is no scrolling HP. If you take a lethal hit, you're done. Like, you're gonna die. And look at that, we got a smash attack and dealt 5 damage. That's awesome. Smash attacks are basically critical hits in this game, although they do a ton more damage. Anyway, you'll notice there, we gained 4 experience instead of 1 like we would in the normal game, so that's basically the effect of the patch I have applied. Anyway, As you can see, there's some really creepy paranormal stuff going on in here. Let's see, I think I want the other room first. There's an optional fight you can do in your house right here. I believe it's this one. You are not required to fight this lamp, but you can, and I want to just for the experience. So we're just going to keep bashing through this guy right here. Unfortunately, as we are level 1, we are quite slow and quite weak, so we just have to hope that we can make it through this, although honestly, these first battles aren't too terribly difficult, so we're probably going to be okay. Anyway, we're going to suffer a little bit of damage right there, bash the lamp a little bit more, and there we go. We have defeated the lamp. Very nice. We now have 8 experience. Now, what does our sister here have to say? Oh my, brother, our house is falling apart. Boo-hoo. Yes, as you can probably tell, the localization for this game is pretty bare bones considering it is an NES title. There actually was a patch released for the GBA version that was created by the same people that made the Mother 3 fan translation, and that translation is honestly probably a lot better than this one. I just feel like it's more authentic to play the NES version. Help me! Alright, we shall do so. Over here we have a doll, and I gotta say, this thing's sprite is really creepy. There's a lot of really creepy things in this game. I feel like this game has one of the most unsettling atmospheres in pretty much any game I've ever played, just because a lot of the graphics are really just creepy slash primitive. Plus, like, the screen that we're on right now is mostly black, and that never changes throughout the entire game. The battle screen is always just black like this, and it's really just creepy, especially coming off of the very bright and shiny effects in EarthBound, as I definitely recommend you play EarthBound on the Super Nintendo first, just because this game can be a little hard to get into unless you're a super big fan like I am. Anyway, we have advanced to the next level. I believe it requires 10 experience to advance to the next level. I'm not going to be explaining this in great detail just because there are lookup tables to find out what level of experience you need to level up. Fight is increased by 3, speed is increased by 2, wisdom is increased by 2. Now, fight and speed are probably pretty self-explanatory. Wisdom, I'm honestly not sure what it does. Strength has increased by 2. Force has increased by 2. I think Force is a stat that helps calculate critical hit ratios? I'm not sure. Maximum HP is increased by 3. Maximum PP is increased by 1. PP is short for psychic points, I believe, and those points will allow you to use magic abilities. Now, one thing that really sucks about this game, my max HP went up by 3, but down in the corner there, my HP itself did not change. When you gain HP from leveling up, you don't actually gain the 3 HP back. You won't be able to see the results of it until you go and heal, which is really unfortunate. The phenomenon has stopped, for the moment. Very interesting indeed. It seems we have purged our house of this odd presence. Perhaps it was a poltergeist. I was scared to death. Oh wow, check what's hidden inside the doll. Indeed, if we go up to the doll and hit check, inside the doll, Nintendo spotted an old music box. As the music box was wound up, a melody began to play. And with that, we have obtained our first melody. Nintendo remembered the tune. Now, if we go into state, you'll see that we have a little music note under melody right there. As you can see, melodies in this game don't necessarily require the completion of a dungeon and a boss fight in order to get a hold of. And as a result, they are much more cryptically hidden. I could have just walked out of this room and not grabbed that melody, and I could have gotten all the way to the end of the game without it. Seriously. This is a very open-ended kind of adventure compared to what you might be used to in EarthBound. EarthBound is a lot more structured than this game. Anyway, right over here, Nintendo, are you alright? Egad, what is happening to our house? I wish your dad were here now. Maybe... Telephone. Nintendo, please get it. Oh, this localization. Nintendo, grab the telephone. This is your dad. Well, it seems like a poltergeist. Ah, just like I suspected. It's not like I didn't know that in advance or anything. I'm not exactly sure how to... But your great-grandfather studied PSI. Oh, the clunk is real. You might find something in the basement to help. But I left the basement key someplace. Can't remember exactly where. Anyhow, son, you are my only hope. It's time for you to go on a little adventure and explore the potential of your powers. Powers not be taken lightly. Is that even proper English? I don't know. Ninten, go for it. But remember to come back and check on our family. Bye. Oh, phone me and I will save your progress. That seems familiar, doesn't it? Call me whenever you want. Slam. And our mother will move out of the way, and we can head outside, and the basement key is actually on our dog. You can converse with animals. Tell you a secret. Why don't you check me out? Bow wow? Alright, let's do that. There, on the dog's collar, was the basement key. Ninten got basement key. Very nice. So now we can head back inside the house, and at this door right here, the door is locked, so we need to go into our goods. And you'll notice we have a cash card. That is because, like EarthBound, this game operates on an ATM system, which I will be explaining later. Anyway, let's eat the basement key. Don't be silly, you can't do that. No, what we want to do is we want to go and use the basement key. Ninten unlocked the door and went inside. And inside, we are in our basement. Now, one thing that's really amusing about this game is just the way the graphics are drawn. It makes it seem like every building ever has ceilings that are like 50 feet high. I don't know what it is, but it's funny. Also, this music is really creepy, but it's somewhat catchy at the same time. Ninten opened the present. There was GGF's diary. That stands for Great Grandfather's Diary. Ninten got GGF's diary. Very good. Up here, Ninten opened the present. There was Plastic Bat. Ninten got Plastic Bat. What we want to do with that is if we go into our goods and use it, it will equip the Plastic Bat and some of our stats will go up. I'm not sure exactly what kind of stats are... Oh, I just pressed Start to open the menu. That opens up the map. You want to press A to open up the menu. I'm going to get confused on that a lot. If we go into State, our stats are a little bit higher because we equipped the Plastic Bat. Also, somehow we have this PSI ability, telepathy. I'm pretty sure this doesn't show up in battle just because it doesn't do anything in battle, so it won't even show up, which is pretty nice of them. Right over here, check this, and I believe this has bread inside? Yes. Bread is interesting because if you go into your goods menu, you can either use it or eat it. If you eat it, it will give you some HP back, but if you use it, you can actually use it kind of like an escape rope, so you can leave like a trail of breadcrumbs inside of a dungeon, and then follow it back out, which is pretty interesting. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but that's the gist of it. Anyway, right here, let's read this diary. The diary was hard to read, but opened up to this page. Password. The one who lost the tail. The forgotten one. The ship that sails. I have no clue what that means. Like, I know what to do in the game, but I have no clue what on earth that specific line is supposed to mean. Like, it just seems like gibberish to me. Anyway, one thing I haven't gone over yet, if you press and hold B, you can actually run faster in this game. But what's amusing is it actually makes the entire game run at double speed, so if an NPC is programmed to sort of wander around or something, they will actually do so twice as fast. Anyway, I just wanted to demonstrate that you can actually find rats in the basement right here, which is definitely very interesting. You are going to want to grind down here for levels, because navigating the overworld of this game can be a challenge, to say the least. Anyway, we defeated a rat there. Do we level up? We do not, but we gain quite a bit of experience. Anyway, let's head back upstairs, and honestly, there's really no reason for you to go back down there once you're done grinding, so you can actually talk to, I believe it's this sister? I am Minnie. What can I do for you? Yes, you can store items with her. So what you can do is you can actually leave the basement key with her, although I think you want to keep the grandfather's diary with you for something later, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, what we can do now is go over to our mother. Son of mine, you are braver than I thought. I can't let you go on a journey so famished. I'll cook prime rib. This is the only place in the game this is used, I'm pretty sure, except for maybe one place later? Not positive. Eat your dinner and rest for the night. I'm pretty sure that's a reference to some pop culture song. When you want to eat prime rib again, just come back here. That is basically free healing, which is very nice. Anyway, to save the game, since I am pretty much done playing for now, go over and quote-unquote talk to the phone instead of checking it, which is weird. This is your dad. I've transferred $104 into your account. Every time you beat an enemy, your dad will transfer a preset amount of money into your account. I've got a hack going in the game, as I mentioned, that doubles the money I get, so if my numbers are a little bit different from yours, that'll be why. After the amount you've spent, the balance is $104. Spend your money wisely. Well, the next level requires 6 for Nintendo. He will explain how many experience points you need to level up, which is very nice. By the way, do you want to save? Yes. Okay, but I was thinking of going to sleep now. I've saved your progress so far. Good night. You can either continue the game or hit rest to stop the game. So if we hit rest, see you later. Remember, push in and hold reset while turning the power off. Okay? Slam. And then the game will just sort of stop here. What you need to do is, if you do this, you need to actually reset the game, but if you hit continue, you can just continue playing from right there, and you can make a save state in the Wii U Virtual Console, or anything like that that you want. But anyway, I think with that, we are going to end things off here. So, this past episode of EarthBound Beginnings, we obtained our first melody. We also got our great-grandfather's diary, and got a really cryptic message that even though I've seen this game played all the way through before, I still don't really get what it means. And next time, we are going to be heading out into the world to see if we can find more music. But not before I grind a little bit off screen, just to be safe. So without further ado, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.